local lick show. Brought to you by Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic. They are the Quad City's largest new and pre-owned motorcycle, scooter, and off-road vehicle dealer, offering Indian motorcycles, Victory motorcycles, Polaris side-by-side, ATVs, Polaris Slingshot. Sure like to ride one of those. Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Kimco, and CF Moto off-road vehicles. Stop by 4426 State Street in Bettendorf, Iowa. Go online, brennys.com, or call 563-359-7222. All right. Well, we are blessed to be joined live in studio by the one, the only, that's right, you know him, Zaggy from Drama Major. Zaggy, what is up?
How are you? Good morning.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're doing kind of an MTV Unplugged version today.
Yes, we are.
And, man, so I was asking you off the air a little bit about, where is Drama Major and who it is, because, just like last week's show, I know Pat and I know Three on the Tree, but I just really didn't know, but who and what is Drama Major?
Drama Major is a band, but ultimately, for me, it's just a concept. As I grew through the teenage years into the cover band years and then original band years, I realized that telling stories was what I really fell in love with. So the concept of Drama Major isn't really it's just really a storytelling entity. And at this particular point, due to the very frequent, or not lack thereof, frequent shows, it is really just an online entity. I mean, we call it QC based, I live out here. A lot of the musicians I've used over the years, even when I lived here or there, we're just a regional based storytelling, fun rock band.
So you're just here to have a good time.
We are, I love to tell my stories. I actually I like to refer to my album, the albums in the future, of course, as books. There's storytelling. Every song's a chapter. I like to think by the end of the album, you've got a kind of a general idea of what's going on, at least in the mindset, or what has happened in the past of Drama Major. So I'm a storytelling guy.
All right, and what are some of your stories? Where do you get some of those stories?
A lot of them on the first album was called Excruciatingly Human. It was available on Spotify, all those good spots. Spotify, Google. Is Google Play still a thing? It's Google, whatever.
Yep.
Amazon, and of course Apple. I was gonna say iTunes, but it's Apple Music now. It's available all those places. There's a song on the album about my daughter. Very kind of a slower thing. There's a couple love songs. There's some heavy metal songs. The thing that I appreciate about good songwriters is they don't pigeonhole themselves. They're not just one tone, one flavor. Some of the bands that I listen to are heavy, and then acoustic, and then poppy and punky. And I think the beauty of the Drama Major catalog at this point is that first record was created over a span of about 8 to 10 years. So as you can imagine, my musical flavors kind of went all over the board too.
Yeah.
Through Slipknot, through that pop punk era that happened, and then I love acoustic music. I really love acoustic music. So I like to just, have a up the peaks and valleys kind of mentality towards the storytelling. There's a song on the album about a guy who I was friends with that we weren't friends with. That's one of those explicit tunes. Track 9, if you're taking notes. There's a song, there's a really slow, it's a somber tune. It was one of the songs I almost played today, but I really didn't want to depress the audience, but it's a song about how when you fall in love, you have all these aspirations, and then sometimes you realize the aspirations are false because you just want those things. When I wrote that song, there's a song on the album called Long White Faces, and I wrote the song the day I walked into my ex-wife's house, knowing that I was going to make the commitment and we were going to make it happen. I started the song that day. I let it sit on the shelf in the notebook for 14 years, and then when the divorce was happening, I could finally finish this. That's what it takes sometimes to make a story real and authentic and genuine. And I pride myself on the fact that every single word I say is part of the story. There's no filler lyrics. There might be some cliched lyrics that tell the story, but nothing is fake. And that's important to me as a storyteller, because I want the audience to completely understand, even if they have to ask what's happening.
So, There's many ways to tell stories. Why did you choose music to tell your stories? What was it about it?
You know, it's a great question. I think it's just kind of a calling, you know, as we talked about off air. You know, drums are really my thing. That's always been my thing. That's what I gravitated to. And then I think, you know, and then getting into the teaching and really being a performer, I love the sharing of the music, whether it's in an education format or in a live situation where people will just dance into your groove, or you're singing or whatever. I just love that. And I think music probably, you know, is in my family. I've recently learned that my grandmother, my dad was a musician, but his mom played drumline. She was a snare drummer in like the women's military back in the day. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it started back then. So I think music is definitely a calling for those who have a passion for it. And fortunately, you know, I'm not much of like a story writer, or I can't tell stories in another way. I just like to talk and, you know, and do that sort of thing to tell my stories through song. Hopefully it works. Well, you got one for us, for example? I do have a song for you. Now, and I gave you guys a disclaimer. I'm a drummer. Yes. So, and at off air, we explained that most of, and I got to put this out there, I have had the absolute pleasure, luxury, I'm a blessed man, because I am a drummer singing in a band. So I came out behind the drum set to sing in front of the band. I can't play guitar in the way that great guitar players can. So I've been blessed all through the course of my drama major career to have great songwriters, great songwriting teams. Everybody from, you know, Chris Avey, Andy Cowan, Colin Parnoid, BJ Lovelace, Jeff Loader, Dan Wilson. I've had some great, and now I've got two great guys, Tony Gothard and Michael John Gothard, who are in the band. And I've been blessed to be around great dudes. So it's easy for me as a drummer and a singer to go, I want it to sound like this, kind of like this, and that have guys around me who go, because if I had to make it sound like it did in my head, it'd be the same 3 D, A, G chords all the time. Right. So I've been blessed. So the transfer from drums to guitar is a little bit of a weird thing, but I've got this guitar and we're going to try and play it. No, I think you can. We're going to try and play it. I think you can. I got a couple tunes that all of my musicians, but long story short, all of my musicians were unavailable today to come and be here with me. So I decided, MTV Unplugged style, we're going to do it anyway. Yeah. We're going to do it anyway. So I've got a couple tracks I think I can get through. Fingers crossed I can get through. All right. This first one is a song that I wrote for my girlfriend when I was on tour. We had just started dating, and then you've heard the old cliche, right? The road is no place to start a family. I think that was the Journey line. Yeah. It's no different in just when you're dating. It's a difficult world. And so I wrote this song for my girlfriend to try and cheer her up, while I was gone. And I had some help with another great songwriter, Chris Avey, helped me with it. And the lyrics for the chorus are actually just straight out of our text message conversation. Wow. And there's some very specific references to the early dating, how we started dating. And we can talk about that maybe after or not. But I think I can get through it. All right. I hope I can. I think you can. So the song is called Purple. We need to talk about that. I believe, I'm thinking through the lyrics. I think I'm okay. I thought about it earlier. I don't think there's any naughty words in this song. I guess check for emails. Everybody in the cross morning. Your fingers. Check for emails in the morning. So the song's called Purple. Let's see if I can do this. Ain't it funny how it started? Ain't it funny how we meet? Two worlds of discontent, promised dreams and broken hearted. Ain't it funny how things they seem? Is it crazy I'm with you? Yeah. Is it crazy all the things we say we're gonna do? It'd be crazy for this to end. Oh yeah, we started off as friends, and now I feel this way when you answer. Hey baby, how are you? How's your day? Oh, I miss you too. Hey baby, everything's alright. And I say, hey baby, how are you? That's great. Well, I'll be home in just a couple days. Hey baby, oh yeah, you're so fine, and everything's alright. I like to look at you when I sing, hey, that's my baby. You must have seen me sing this song 1,000 times. Do you remember when Sullivan drove you crazy? You waited patiently as I learned him line for line, yeah. Well, is it crazy I'm with you? Yeah. Is it crazy all the things we say we're gonna do? It'd be crazy for this to end. We started off as friends, and now I feel this way when you answer. Hey baby, how are you? How's your day? Oh, I miss you too. Hey baby, everything's alright. And I say, hey baby, how are you? That's great. Oh, I'll be home in just a couple days. Hey baby, you're so fine. I kinda like it when you send me pictures in the tub. I kinda like the way your wind will never be enough. I really like the way I'm feeling the touch of your hands, but not just my hands. I kinda like the way you think of things on the shopping. My favorite shirt to try and piss me off. Pushing my buttons, pushing me down again. Here we go again. I kinda like the way you let me be someone else, and then you drown me, and Tuesday just went to hell. I kinda like it when you tell me I should hurry home, 'cause purple's not the same. It's not the same. Use your imagination, I suppose. And I say, hey baby, how are you? How's your day? Oh, I miss you too. Hey baby, everything's alright. And I say, hey baby, how are you? That's great. Well, I'll be home in just a couple days. Hey baby, ooh, yeah, you're so fine, and everything's alright. Yeah, baby, everything's just fine. Bad.
Woo!
I mean, yeah.
There you go. Zaggy from Drama Major live in studio here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
As always.
I mean, that was a love song, so to speak, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're on the road and you just, you know, it's hard to be on the road and be a good boyfriend and, like, have a good quality relationship. And even when you are being a good boyfriend, it's hard. You know what I mean? So there's that dichotomy of the whole existence. And,
of course.
You know, sometimes that was my way of kind of saying to her, there's a line, and I wanted to talk about it because we talk about specifics.
Yeah.
There's a line in the second verse. Let's see. I like to look at you when I sing, hey, that's my baby. You must have seen me sing that song 1,000 times, right? Do you remember when Sullivan drove you crazy? You waited patiently as I learned him line for line. So that line, I like to look at you when I sing, hey, that's my baby. So I used to do acoustic shows, the Chris and West show, and we used to cover a Sublime song. And I think it was either What I Got or Santeria. In that one of those songs, I would always sing that song and I would look at her and say, hey, that's my baby. So, I mean, going back to some of the specific, I like to look at you when I sing, hey, that's my baby. You know, I mean, just little things like that someone might be thinking, whatever, but that's an actual real thing that happened every night. You must have seen me sing that song 1,000 times, you know? I mean, that's real. The next line was, do you remember when Sullivan drove you crazy? You waited patiently as I learned him line for line. Do You Remember When is a song, and Sullivan is a song by the band Caroline Spine, who, when we first started dating, I just joined that band as a regional artist. So when he flies in from Arizona and does regional shows, I am his regional roster guy. So I just joined. So, do you remember when Sullivan drove you crazy? Because I just listened to them endlessly and waited patiently as I learned them line for line. They seem like simple lines, but really, they're actual specific incidents. And we're not going to get into the specific incidents, the quiet parts, because there's probably a little bit more than a Saturday afternoon radio show needs to talk about. But, for real, like, I just don't like fake things. I like things to be real. And when I wrote that chorus, hey, baby, how are you? How's your day? Oh, I miss you too. That was my side of the text conversation. Think about a text conversation.
Right.
How are you? How's your day? Oh, I miss you too. And like, it seems simple at the time, but it's so poignant for me as an artist. It has to be real. So there's my soapbox. I'm off it now.
Wow, that's an interesting take on that. It's all real. It's not manufactured from some. We're not some big record label, and they're feeding you lyrics. I mean, you are speaking from the heart,
100%.
And what? So I'm. While you were talking about that, I was also thinking too. The long distance relationship thing.
Yeah.
I can just imagine. When you're thinking in your head about her, I mean, right there, just the thoughts alone could be lyrics.
Absolutely. And that's the craziest thing. I was writing a song with someone, and I was kind of doing the drums, and we were kind of doing a collective thing. And the singer, he was struggling because it was kind of his first composing session. He had been a very good singer. He sings well. He sings in cover bands, but he wanted to write a song, and he never knew how to do it. And so I just explained to him, like, how do you feel? Tell me what you feel. And I won't, but like he said, well, aside from the cliche, I'm sad, boo-hoo, blah, 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 like, even I'm sad, boo-hoo, blah, 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 if you can say it right, if you can say it effectively, and those are weird, those wouldn't be great lyrics, but why not? Hey, baby, how are you? How's your day? Oh, I miss you too. There's nothing poignant about, we're not reestablishing lyrical ground anywhere. That's just a conversation that I was able to put around that's just a conversation my good friend Chris Avey was able to put around a chord progression, So it doesn't have to be like, deep into the bowels of like poetry. And sometimes it can be simple as long as it's heartfelt, meaningful, and poignant, because that's what it's about for me. And the beauty of what I do in Drama Major, because we don't have a high frequency of live performances, I hope to add more acoustic performances as I get better as an acoustic guitar player, so that I continue to share the stories and the music and those kind of things. But we don't have a lot of live frequency at this particular point. So it's important for me that every step of the way, even when I'm doing it, it's still real. So I'm not trying to sell. If I play a song and someone goes, whatever, cool, that's great. You don't have to buy it or listen to it or stream it for free. Feel free. Please do. The more streams I get, 0.00003 cents on the stream,
Yep.
So, I'm not to, again, get on a soapbox, but feeling it, having it mean something. There's a song on my album about my daughter, how when she growing up, I was gone. God, I was on tour from the time I was 22 to the time I was 34. How in the world can you possibly be a good father? To a daughter she lived out here. I lived in the Quad Cities. It's just possible. It was hard to be a good father to the child I was living with at home down there. So there's a song about that. Won't get into it because it's sad and depressing. It's a great song. Listen to it on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music, and Amazon. So thank you. Yeah. It's called Daughter. But all the songs on the record, we could have a songwriting session for every song on the record, because every single word of every single song, I can tell you what it means. And that's just me being a little weird about it, but hey, whatever.
Well, that's what makes you you.
Yeah.
And you is Zaggy from Drama Major. He is live in studio. We're going to take a very short break, get you all rested up here, and get a swig of water. And I do want to mention the local lick show brought to you by Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic. Oh, and just like that, we are back to the local lick show. Live in studio, we have Zaggy from Drama Major.
Hola.
Hello. ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Guten Tag.
That's all I got. Sorry.
Das Vendonia.
Donde es el baño? I guess that.
You already went there. Yeah, and we were just talking off air. There is a scheduling
Schedule announcement. Yes.
announcement because we'll be playing Josephus's entertainment calendar coming up later on in the show, and of course you can always go online and check it out. But fill us in on the details on that.
Tonight's performance at the Mound, it was originally scheduled to be a Drama Major headline. As Big as Amounts was direct support, and Extinguish the Sun was the opening band. I believe Extinguish the Sun has canceled a couple days ago due to a COVID situation, and I recently learned within the last hour or so that As Big as a Mouse is also canceling. So the boys in Drama and I, we're going to pull out every cover we got, and we're going to party all night long, just one band, and we're going to have a good time. And yeah, we'll have fun with it.
Okay, sounds good. So there you go.
No big deal. About 9:30 start, the Mound, no cover.
All right, awesome. All right, now I did want to ask you, since we're talking about songwriting, how do you know when a song is done?
Boy, that is a great question. There's a balance for sure. Like, when is enough? How, or do we need to go further? Sometimes the beauty of it is in your songwriting team. And I'll be the first to admit, I learned a long time ago my first 3 songs off the old album, the first album, were by myself. And then I learned that I only had so many songwriting tricks that I was reusing them over and over. So I brought in other cats. And, it's a tough question. Sometimes for me, like in the storytelling sense, it's simple because, like, did I tell the story? Have I left something out? And as I approach things that way with that mentality, that's pretty much how I do it. Like, if I got through that third verse and I'm like, yeah, but I didn't even tell about the one time when she did that one thing. Okay, well, I either got to put that in somewhere or I have to extend what I'm saying, because going back to my original soapbox, the song purity is always paramount. I mean, there's no secret that double verse, chorus, single verse, chorus, bridge, guitar solo, double chorus out is the greatest songwriting format of all time. And in modern days, they don't even use guitar solos anymore. Yeah. So that's gone.
Yeah.
But it's simple to plug that. So, but for me, it's just a matter, I guess, of getting the whole story told. You can take it too far, but then I guess, if you're Tool, take it as far as you want, Yeah. That's your thing. In Drama Major, I just try and stick to the storytelling. If I feel, but then sometimes I should, that being said, in a particular songwriting session, I'll bring it to mind for some batches of songs for the new album. The bass player and the guitar player insisted we add this other part. Insisted to the point where we disagreed loudly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, dudes. I think I think it's done. But that was me being content. So we humored I humored them, and as songwriters, I respect them. So we rode the idea out. Next thing you know, we got a bad old Pantera style, like, cool outro that really climaxed the song and the riff, and I was able to tag some vocal lines. So sometimes you just got to trust the process. Sometimes you got to know when you got something else to say, know when you don't. It's hit or miss. Sometimes it works left, right. Sometimes it works right, left, So, great question. Sorry I didn't really answer it.
Well, yeah, there's no real, everybody's got a different answer to it and a different way to get to it, and the end result is your music.
Yes.
And that's the answer right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just believing and feeling good about what you do, I guess, Believing and feeling good about what you do at a pure artist level. There's a commercial sense to everything. And I'll be honest, I've been in the room where I was like, I've been in the studio and we're harmonizing and we're laying vocal tracks, and I'm like, you know what? If we do it like this, everybody's going to sing along a lot better. Mm-hmm. A lot better, right? That's grammatically correct. I've done it. I've sat there and went, man, if we just stick to that, just keep it right there, it's going to sell. And then we're all like, yeah, but it's kind of weak. Like, so you have to, as an artist, do I want to sell? Do I want to sell this? I want this to be a single. I'm going to keep it clean and happy and bubblegummy as I can. And there are bubblegum tunes on the Drama Major record, and there are some Slipknot-inspired I Don't Like the World songs. That's the beauty of Drama Major. So, all right, I don't know. I guess now I've talked myself into a corner. I don't really know what the answer is, but yeah, whatever. It's just about believing in yourself and believing in the product and doing it, for me, as a pure artist, It's not about whether people are going to like it or not.
Sure.
So
now you're having fun doing it, but what part is the most fun, or what's something that people don't see that you do that you enjoy the most?
As far as being a singer-songwriter kind of thing, the best part for me, in all honesty, is being in the room and having a great team of guys, and I call them a team because we're a team, depending on it's in different combinations. Walking into that room, and my bass player's over there, and he's doing his thing, and my guitar player, one or two or whatever, and sometimes I'm the drummer doing the session. Other times I've had other guys come in. I'm not so egomaniacal that I can't have another great drummer come in and be like, I prefer it, actually, because I'm the kind of guy who I've been in enough working musician situations. I know how to treat the drummer without being egotistical. I mean, everybody I work with, we're pros. So we're just great communicating guys. I've never had an issue. So sometimes it's just like, hey man, that moment, that's my favorite. Being in the room, composing, building. I guess I'm a builder, And I'm standing there at the mic and I'm like, hey man, I want to do this line. I remember when, I'll give you an example. One of my favorite songwriting sessions. I was my young son, young Ethan, when he was 6 weeks old. He lived in Peoria. He was in a coma. He had a breathing issue, respiratory, blah blah blah. Yay, COVID. This is pre-COVID, but COVID scared us when it comes to this. So anyway, I was back and forth working. My lady was basically living in that hospital room for 6 weeks and everything. I texted the guys and I said, I need a session. I need a session. I need a heavy song. I need it to be a minor. So I chose B minor, the saddest of, what is that? B minor? That's not a B minor, that's a B major, but I'm not a guitar player. B minor is a sad. So anyway, long and short, I sent him the details. Sad, heavy, and I'm going to pair it with these other songs in this tuning. And I was trying to take care of my family and my boy, and I remember going to the next session, and I just walked in, and the dudes there was a drummer, his name was Dan, BJ was the bass player, Andy was the guitar player, and they had a piece of music for me. It's emotional even to talk about it, because I needed it, right? I needed it. I was so lost in the tragedy of what was going on with my son, and the financial whirlwind that was happening, and my lady, the stress it took on our relationship. That songwriting session for that song, and that song's called Like Guarding Angels' Graves. I wish I could play that for you because that is a great song. Talk about specific examples. That moment, coming into that room, I remember being very emotional. I'm emotional kind of right now telling the story. Wow, I remember when I called out to my guys and I said, I need this, guys. And they set up a session and they met a time without me. And then when I came in, they had this amazing piece of music. That to me is the best part. Building a story out of something that is traumatizing me, owning my life, kicking my butt, and then going into a session with great guys and saying, hey man, help me, pick me up. And they wrote this music and we built this song. And to this day, it's one of my favorite compositions. It was a group thing. It wasn't me. I turned it over to them and walked in with lyrics. And that's, to me, the most amazing thing about being a creator, a songwriter in the room. Not the finished product. That's just doing the work. Going to the studio, we know the song. We don't build songs in the studio. That costs too much money. Let's go to the studio and rock this out. I don't have 13 hours of let's see if this works, at $50 or $100 an hour or whatever. So you go in. The best part for me, sorry, I'm going on a tangent now, is that room, those human souls, brothers, building a piece of music. That's why I love every song in my library, because I know how they were created. That's why I'm so excited for the next album, because most of those tunes, half of the album's done, and they were created in that beautiful moment. And the other half of the album, I'm so looking forward to those beautiful moments. I can't wait to get into the room and be like, all right, dudes, here's this song, here's my melody, here's my loose chord progression. Let's build this monster and let's make it awesome. Those are the type of things I live for. I don't even need to release music, to be honest with you. I don't need that. I just want to make it. I want to make music and create it. Now, of course, I need to sell it.
Yeah, that would help. I
gotta get it out there.
Sure.
That's the business side of it. But let's be honest. An independent artist, unless you're someone independent like Blue October, shout out to my favorite band in the world, Blue October, or, those bands are making their money. But they're also selling out House of Blueses all across the country when the touring is open. A band like me, a guy like me, putting out an album that might cost me, I don't know, say it cost me $3,000 to make an album. I got to sell 300 copies to break even, you know? And that's not impossible. I did that on the last record, broke even right away. That was good. But I haven't re-upped this inventory to sell more, but that was also a 2-year kind of run. I'm ready for another run. So, sorry, I'm tangenting, but the moment of creating music, selling it's just part of the deal, but creating it, I do that all day. I can do that right now. Yeah. Well, we just sit to record and start coming up with something. Unfortunately, I don't play guitar well enough to do that. So
that's all right. Well, even though you've been playing it well enough. I mean,
trying, dude.
Well, you're making it look easy, and you're ready to do another one.
I do have another one for you. It's just kind of a bass-driven song. It's on the album, Excruciatingly Human. I chose this song for 2 reasons. First reason is I can play it. Let's be honest.
Number one.
I can play it.
Number one reason.
But the second one is this song was actually made, I'll say more popular by 107.7. Even back to when it was the other dial-up. It was a song that got a lot of traction, you know, when they're doing the midday show and they were dropping a local every once in a while. And then I think Uncle Tim's played it in his show. It's just been a song that really has only been promoted by this radio station. And I say that because I can read the charts. I've never pushed it as a single or promoted it in any sort of capacity because it's a song that really isn't in the live show. It's a song that kind of got left out of the live show. So shout out to 107.7 for making this song one of the more popular streams. And let's be honest, everybody streams, nobody buys, which, okay, fine, whatever. This is a song that boosts my streams, and it's thankful to 107.7. So maybe we can boost the streams a little more.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
The song's called Footsteps. It's on the album. It's about my oldest son, Sage. It's another one of those like it was written over a long period of time. But again, a lot of specific examples. This one's a little tricky because of the words and the combination of riff. But let's see if I can do it. It's called Footsteps. It's about my oldest son, Mr. Sage. Make sure we stayed in tune here. All right. Sometimes I see you tracing footsteps. No, I am so alone. And I was blind to what he put here. Into his headspace I have crawled. You've seen me under siege, I am sorry. It's always on my mind. And if you need a great, great story, it's always on my mind. There we go. It's always on my mind. It's always on my... And it's okay, I should have warned you. Were words I didn't hear. There's things to show you I've not yet come to. It's all so perfectly unclear. If you choose to choose this into my story, just remember, I'm not yet done. If you choose to walk these footsteps, please just listen. Do what you will with your life, son. With visions of riches and glory. Well, maybe you're secretly watching me as I fall, as I lay your footsteps down. Lay your footsteps. Pretty bass-driven song, you know. You think I choose to become what the world wants? I'd be a fake, I'd be a fad blasé. You think I choose this weak existence, buried by life in its weight each day? You think I choose this into my story, as I lie here in ruin? So take these words, take the song, go and heed them. Please write a new one, do what you will with your life, son. With with visions of riches and glory. Well, maybe you're secretly watching me as I fall, as I lay your footsteps. Do what you will with your life, son, with visions of riches and glory. Well, maybe you're secretly watching me as I fall, as I lay your footsteps down, as I lay your footsteps down. There we go. A little bit different than the full band version because, you know, there's a lot of guitars and a lot of heavy and a lot of bass.
Yeah, and I've brought this up before with a lot of bands, you know, and whether they're local or even, you know, major acts, some people hear the song for the whole package, the compositions, everything about a song, you know. Some people hear it for the lyrics, you know, and hearing it like this, you know, even the studio version, you know, I hear the lyrics, they come through along with everything else. But yeah, hearing it like this, it's almost like on a different level, you know. The lyric wise, you're really hanging on to those lyrics.
It's almost you're a little bit more naked.
Yes.
You know, essentially, you don't have the distorted guitars and the loud bass and the drop tunings and the, you know, just the, you know, there is a sort of like safety valve in that. And I agree. I think playing acoustically is a very naked situation. And I think any good songwriter will tell you that a great way to test your composition is to see if it works as an acoustic tune. You know, and I've even heard bands like Korn stripped down and played, you know, really neat and cool. I mean, even Slipknot. Corey Taylor's going out and doing did that acoustic tour, and he's playing Slipknot tunes over like G and C chords. I'm like, what? Good compositions work, whether they're that way or whether they're a drummer playing a guitar. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's get through this. It's a composition. If the music and melodies work as an acoustic song, they should undoubtedly work as a loud, obnoxious song. And, you know, you're right. I think the beauty of an acoustic song is there's a little bit more sincerity to it. An example in this song, like this song's recorded, when I played it, it's recorded in another tuning. Like it's heavier, it's shunk, you know? So to play it here, not only screws up my vocal, I'm completely transposing an entire step up, but it also puts a little bit of that innocence to it, you know, the do what you will with your life, son, with visions of riches and glory. Or maybe you're secretly watching me as I fall, as I lay your footsteps down. I mean, that's tattooed on my arm, as I lay your footsteps down, you know. And that song is about my oldest boy. I remember sitting on the picnic table at the Davenport skate park at 7 o'clock in the morning because I would gig all night and that was the only time you could get there before it was busy. And he was obsessed with skating. And I remember just sitting there working on lyrics. I didn't take the guitar out. I wasn't that guy. But working on lyrics in my notebook, watching him skate. And that's where it came from. Like, do what you will with your life, son, with visions of riches and glory. Maybe you're secretly watching me as I fall, as I lay your footsteps down. In essence, paving the way. My mistakes are learning situations for me to share with you. There's a lyric in the song, it's okay, I should have warned you, were words I didn't hear. Nobody ever told me how hard this was going to be. Nobody ever told me being a musician full-time is really difficult on your relationships, on your family, on your finances, on your sanity. Because it is 24/7 hustle. You don't just get up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then, you know, go to a gig and rock out and then just go to sleep. There's a hustle. There's an all-day work that goes with it. Being a professional and, you know, making sure your schedule's full and those kind of things. I always tried to share my musical and lifely experiences with my son because now he lives in California. Like, he's a long ways away from dad, And he's 23, so there's that element, 23-year-olds aren't great at talking to dad. I wasn't, and I was pre-cell phone, so give me a break,
Yeah.
So he's in California, and I didn't know at the time he was going to be in California, but I just wanted to write a song that was like, hey, I'm walking the life that you're about to walk, and I want you to know that it's okay, but pay attention, As I fall, as I lay your footsteps down. Dad's going to fail. Dad fails. I make dad mistakes and lifely mistakes. I don't know if I never screw anything up to the point where I couldn't recover, I suppose. But, that was my lesson for him. And that's really what I wanted that song to be about. There's a nice little part in the song where I really just have this father-son spoken word, like, okay, son, it's just you and me now. You can take over the world if you want to. I can show you the way, but you got to be strong. You got to be relentless and always persevere. Now, I think I got this thing figured, but there's two things. Number one, you got to believe. You physically will yourself to succeed. You got to stand strong in the face of others and rock. Number two, no fear, because fear leads to doubt, fear leads to insecurity, and ultimately fear lies at the root of all failure. That's just me talking. I'm not singing. I'm talking. That's my hand in your face, son. Listen to me. Listen to me right here, right now. And it's got a cool little riff underneath it. It makes it sound all heavy and it's those are words. That's what I needed to say to my son, And I love it because, again, every single syllable of every word is real, and that's just important to me,
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he is also a musician. Am I correct?
He's a drummer for the band Point North. I mean, they're, of course, killing it. He's like TikTok this, and I don't know. I don't do TikTok.
Whatever the kids are doing these days.
Oh, my gosh. He's on top of it. He's doing great. He's got a great support team. His mom and I are divorced, of course, but we're still a great support team for him. And he's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's doing just great things. And I think part of that is due to the fact that, we were able to be very straightforward with him and, point him in the right direction. So, I mean, there's lively variables too,
Sure, yeah.
And, just work hard and keep working hard. So
what advice do you have for anybody listening that's thinking about starting a band or starting, do some solo music as a singer-songwriter?
Oops.
What would you tell them?
I would tell them, first and foremost, don't be afraid to take the time to appreciate the craft of songwriting. Okay, you don't just pick up a guitar and go, there's an A chord, and there's an E chord, and there's a B, and write up a song. Sometimes you have to listen to artists to understand, or maybe even learn a cover tune or two. I mean, a lot of guys are anti it. I mean, it's just really music. It's no different than, well, my dad knows how to drive a car, but I don't want my dad to teach me. No, I need to know how to drive a car. So I need to pick up a guitar and learn wagon wheel or, something silly where I can get through the concept of writing and learn how to adapt a melody, how to adapt lyrics to a melody. The forefathers have done it for you. There's only 12 positions per scale, and they don't all work, I don't think, So there's just a learning curve there. I would say don't be afraid to rely on those who have written songs before you. Now, you can't copy them, but again, there's how many millions of artists writing songs with these 4 chords? You're going to overlap. You're going to write songs about the same thing.
Yeah.
Try not to say the same words, but, and be true. Be real. It's easy to go, and write. It's easy to go pick 3 chords and bounce them around, make sure they're assuming they're right key. Just be real with it. When you're saying something, make sure it's real. And you know what? Guess what? The first 10 songs you write are all going to suck. They are. They won't suck to you because they're your babies.
Yeah.
But there's going to be forced lyrics. Keep doing it. Don't stop. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't work. If I listen to the people who are like, I don't know what that song's about, I'm like, that's okay. That's great. But thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Maybe you'll know what the next one's about. Maybe you'll understand it. Maybe I'll get better. Just take everything with a grain of salt. Do it for the right reasons, I guess, for me. Don't write music to sell it. Don't. because it'll come across that way.
Yeah.
Like, it'll sound like I wrote this song with a rock melody and a rock chord, and I find that special, like, there's what's called the Nickelback frequency, where you just great production, you put that guitar right at that frequency, and it sounds great. It sells because it sounds so good, you know? And I want to be that. And I any aspiring young artist, in the way that music is made and created these days, like literally, there's no such thing as like normal, right? Like, alternative is just like, alternative is gone. The concept, the actual, remember when alternative was like, Skid Row was cool and Alice in Chains came out? Like, that was alternative. Like, it was complete alternative mindset musically. Well, then that became popular, and then the Skid Row became the alternative, you know? There's no such thing as alternative anymore, because everything, you can drive to Guitar Center right now and buy a recording unit, assuming you've got some time and ability, all the equipment, and plug in a keyboard and acoustic guitar and write a song today. It can be done with patience and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. But just, I don't know, do it right and do it for the right reasons. For me, because there's no other reason to do it. Don't sell. Don't write music to sell. Ugh.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
And that is some great advice. And Zaggy, thanks so much for coming in.
Dude, sorry I was long-winded, man. Sorry.
No, not at all. I mean, very in depth, and I have even more respect for your singing and songwriting abilities. Obviously, your music is great. We can find it online. Mm-hmm. And how many albums do you have out?
Drama Major only has one album out right now.
Okay.
There's a second one. It's all written. I got all 13, 14 tracks ready to go. Purple, the song I played first, will be on the next album. All right. So that'll be a single.
And do you have a kind of a timeline when you think? Of course, I know. I'm just putting it out there because somebody's going to want to have.
You know what? It's my ambition. The good news is, in full disclosure, about 3 songs on the album are already started and in production, which is good. Because it's really, when you're in the recording studio, once you get there, it's amazing. Like, you don't want to leave. You're ready to work. You're ready to build. So if I want to go in with the whole library of 13, 14 tracks ready to go, and I know it's a long album, you know, I don't read a book with 3 chapters. I just don't do it. What kind of book? That's a short story. I want to give you the album. So I want to go in and when we get there, I know what it's going to be like. I know 100%. So we'll knock it out quick, and I don't like spending money in the studio. It's going to be like, hey, get that done. I'm paying for it. Get it done. You know, in a playful sort of like bossy, like friend sort of way. But, you know, I'd love to tell you that we will have, I can tell you this for sure. Sure, yeah. We will have a new single off the new album by the end of summer. Awesome. I know that for sure because 2 of those, and one of that song we mentioned earlier about my son, it might be that one. Oh. Called Like Guarding Angels' Graves. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it's the closest one to being done, so it makes sense. All right, sounds good. And, of course, one more time, you're going to be live tonight. At the Mound. All right. Mm-hmm. And about 9:30-ish, I think you said? Well, yeah, you know, I like the ish term. Yeah. It's one of my favorite terms. Ish. 9:30-ish. All right. You know, no later than 10, no earlier than 9. How about that? Sounds good. Well, again, Zaggy, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Love it. Thanks for having me, man. Of course, man. And hope to have you back when you're all set with that new album, that shiny new album. It's going to be amazing. Oh. I am so proud of it already. Yeah. So that's just weird. And albums are babies. They are. They are the chunks of my life. The new album, real quick, and then I'll be out with it. So my first album was up to my divorce. The second album is when the divorce was official. So it's the new chapter of Zaggy West's life, you know. So there's love songs. There's the new love of my life song. There's the ex-wife's still amused song, you know. There's the I'm still angry about how it ended song. And there's a lot of like can't wait to kiss you all day songs, you know, because I'm in love now and the darkness is gone and the sun is shining, you know, metaphorically. So, all right, that's my soapbox. That's all right, Zaggy. Sounds good. Can't wait for it. Hey, you're listening to the Local Lick Show right here on Vintage Radio 107.7 WQUD.